Welcome back to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And it is time for the Nerdrotic Nooner. Pretty darn close to noon this time, not extremely late. I have been much later. Hi, everybody. Hi, Alama899. Hi, Mary Ashmead. Hi, Andrew Griffiths. Hi, DJ B2. Hi, Ewan Murray. Hi, Patrick. Colin P. Smith, Russian Trollbot. A16, Adam Walker. Archmage Frey. Hi. And everybody else in the chat, KZB, KZ Bay. I know there's many more out there, and let's let some more people roll in. And we have a lot to talk about and not a ton of time to talk about. So first off, Exozone last night was my bad. I called it off because I told you guys a while back I fell off a ladder, hurt my back. So my back's been like really crappy. I'm actually going into the doctor later today. So it's sitting for long periods of time, like 4 hours is not something I can do. We'll see how long I can go today. But I mean, like, listen, I'm old too, so we got to consider that. That's got to be consideration. But there's so much to talk about. It's Captain Marvel week. It's Captain Marvel week. Is everybody ready for Captain Marvel week? And it really has nothing to do with the movie and everything to do with how the Access media is going to act. They have just spent the last week doing a victory lap because Rotten Tomatoes silenced the fans by taking away the indicator. Then they used Zachary Levi and that narrative to run that it was people putting fake reviews, which they were completely mixing up. EVS showed it in a video. I showed it in a video too. My video about Zachary Levi was about how they used him to run with the Rotten Tomatoes narrative when he wasn't even talking about that. I didn't know what he was talking about. EVS found out what he was talking about, and it was like some pretty horrible tweets on Twitter, which, well, it's Twitter. You know, I could pull up 5 right now that are aimed at me that are so lovely. So the Access media is in full shill mode. We are not surprised about this at all. But I have a video coming out this afternoon that is a little enlightening. We'll just say I found something. Let's just say I found something. If you dig hard enough, you can find something. And sometimes some stuff just lands right in your lap. And yeah, so that's your tease for the Captain Marvel video I have coming out this afternoon, this evening. Doctor Who video is done. It'll be out tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Then I'm going to do, I haven't forgotten about Star Trek Discovery. I haven't given up on Star Trek Discovery. The season 3 announcement matters not to me. But I wanted to take my time with the next breakdown video, and it's going to be about something specific, not really about the episode because, you know, it's way too late for that anyway. Also, I have to announce because of Captain Marvel, I'm going to try to fit in one of the recaps if I can. I probably can't, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a live recap of Star Trek Discovery and the Orville Friday morning, and I'm going to do a special Friday morning nooner this week because I'm going to see Captain Marvel Thursday night, and then I'm going to be live with a review, and then the following night I'm going to be, it's actually Saturday night, Comics Division is joining me, and we're going to do a full spoiler review on Saturday. Comics Division, if you're out there, we're moving it from Friday to Saturday. Because there will be no nooner this Friday again because it's Mrs. Nerdrotic's birthday and we're going to see Peter Murphy. So there we go. How is everybody? Is everybody caught up on the scheduling? Yes. How much do you think Shazam will make? A crap ton of money because I just watched the trailer right before I started. Hilarious. That thing at the end where he's like, you know, jumping a tall building in a single bound and he doesn't make it was hilarious. I thought that was funny. It looks really good. It looks really good. And I was saying from when I heard this movie, this is going to be the hardest movie to pull off. And, you know, hey, the WB has already pulled off the impossible by making Aquaman a hit and making it good. So now I have faith in them. I think they can pull off Shazam. I think what happens when they do a Superman or a Batman movie, they trip over their D. I won't say the word. They trip over their D. They get all worked up and they don't realize that if you just go to the core of the character and you go through the minutia, you can make a good movie. They are free of that when they do stuff. That's why Blade was good. That's why Guardians of the Galaxy was good. That's why Shazam will probably be good. And Aquaman, there's not a bunch of stuff from previous movies wrapped around it, which makes the creatives go insane instead of just reading a few comic books and getting the gist of the character, or better yet, hiring somebody who knows about the character. I don't think there's any shortage of people in Hollywood who know Batman, who know Superman, who knows Star Trek. But I'll get to that later. What's up, Blizzard Boy? How's it going? Yes, I believe Warner Brothers is turning it around as Disney is starting to. Well, they're not failing yet. Okay, we haven't seen anything fail yet. We haven't seen Captain Marvel. Kevin Feige is still the king of Hollywood. If everything stops now and it starts failing now, Kevin Feige is still going to have streets named after him. He should have statues erected in his honor. They should replace the Hollywood sign and call it Feigewood, because he has saved that frickin' town. And thankfully, because of the MCU, Warner Brothers has spent a lot of money taking it in the shorts and possibly turned it around because of the MCU. The MCU is why Hollywood still makes movies. We're in the period of a lot of change right now. We have the streaming wars. So formats are shifting. It's a paradigm shift. Tangible physical media is going to start going away. Comic shops are dying. We got another local one, the one that was actually the closest comic shop to my shop, which is in a place called West Portal, which is a tough retailing place. I always questioned why you would put a comic shop. I thought about putting my comic shop there, and I decided not to because it's kind of closed off. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of a closed off retail neighborhood. Really bad place for a comic shop. But the guy Christian, who runs it, was a cool dude. But I'm surprised. I was just there for a signing. Derek Robertson did a signing there with Gary Whitta just 3 weeks ago. And he announces he's closing. 2 other shops. Bleeding Cool's reporting this. EVS did a live stream on it this morning. And I have a lot of thoughts on that. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that Marvel Comics bears most of the responsibility for that. There's also the retailer. And the retailers not speaking up sooner when it comes to Marvel. Brian Hibbs' speech, as great as it was, and I have a lot of respect for the man, should have been 2 years ago. Seems like the SJWs are now claiming that we only liked Alita Battle Angel because the protagonist, she's CGI and doesn't talk too much. Insulting insinuating a Stepford Wives thing. Tyler Preston, they will grab at anything they can, they being whatever you want to label them, people who want the status quo. I will call them at this point the establishment. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into now. Aside from being a big comic book fan and a comic book retailer, I am a music fan, or used to be. Used to be really into music. I'm an old aging punk rocker. Used to have a mohawk and spiked hair and a leather jacket, and so did my wife. We dated back in high school. Back during the time we were supposed to be going to high school, but we really didn't. Had dyed hair when it actually meant something, and it was cool. And YouTube is kind of the punk rock of this whole movement. It's the anti-establishment. It's funny how things switch, but that is clear. They are clear. The Access Media, back these big companies. They are the establishment. They are the man, and we're the voices out there. We are the heretics. We are the voices of dissent. And we are getting brought up quite a bit by the Access Media. Actually, I'm going to bring that up in my next video. Another tease there. And we get brought up a ton now. We used to get totally ignored, and that's what I fully expected. So we must be making some kind of impact. If they are saying that we, and I say Geeks and Gamers and other channels can get people fired up enough to go vote down a movie and create fake accounts, which I don't think somebody's sitting there and creating multiple fake accounts. I think the most fake accounts somebody would make is like 2 or 3. Who's going to do that? I mean, and force a big website to remove something. Wow. If they're renewing shows because they want to save face, so they don't have YouTubers and people on Twitter celebrating Wow. That's all I've got to say is wow. I don't think I necessarily believe it yet, but I'm getting closer to that. We got a super chat here. We got a super chat here from, oh, wow. Okay. Gwaltzilla. Gwaltzilla, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Captain Marvel is feminist space aids. That's how we're starting Captain Marvel week, with piss and vinegar. Godzilla, thank you very much for the $20 super chat. Way to start this out. And, you know, people also need to realize that all this going back and forth, a lot of it is just in good fun. It's just ribbing. I don't think people generally take it that serious. There is something very serious going on. And it's not, you know, it's not just what's within the superhero movie. It's the bigger picture. So one of the criticisms against us, which I can just levy the same one back at you for the opposite reasons, is, you know, it's just a superhero movie. And, oh, it's just a superhero movie. Well, some of us feel very passionately about comic books, and it's been our life. So it's not just Star Trek to me, or just a superhero movie to me. It's something I'm into, and it's not just the agenda, but, you know, it's just the agenda putting in, and don't worry about it, you know. And this is filtering down to our kids. I told you guys before, but I'll retell the story, that I was going to pick up my son at school, and he was talking with his little friends, and sometimes, you know, I kind of hang back and let them finish the conversation, and they were talking about SJW Marvel in a San Francisco, in probably the most liberal San Francisco junior high in America, Everett Junior High. And this is the school that had I got to look back at the article to get it right. It made national news about 2 years ago, where a kid won the student body president, and the faculty, and he won fair and square, and the faculty, because he was a boy or something, didn't let him win. They pulled his victory and gave it to somebody else. I'll have to look that up. It made national news. That's the school. So yeah, these little groups of kids were talking about diversity in comics and stuff, and it cracked me up. Now, this is not something I've turned my kid on or showed to him, and I don't know if I necessarily want him watching all those videos all the time, and he doesn't. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that it's filtered down to the kids. This argument is getting down to children. So, I mean, hey, I'm not sitting here going, think of the children. I mean, listen, it's up to me, the parent, to filter that out. So, yeah, Captain Marvel week. Hey, Gary, just wanted to ask your thoughts on the comics experience on Ocean Avenue in the city. It's pretty much the only shop I've seen without actively looking around. Just Mall, that's my old shop. That's funny you bring that up. So it's called the Comics Experience Outpost, and that's my old shop. I sold it to Brian in 2013 on December 15th, 2013. It was soul crushing to have to do that. It was soul crushing to have to leave. There was a lot of reasons. When I hit 50,000 subs, I will tell that story. All the truth. It had nothing to do with the SJW Marvel and everything to do with me. So actually, comics were selling great. Things were going great. But, you know, with success sometimes can come great arrogance, and I stopped listening to people and made many mistakes. But that's how we, you know, what did Thomas Wayne say? What did we do when we fall? We get back up, which is like the dumbest saying ever, but yes, we get back up. There we go. But Just Mall, yeah, that's my old shop. That's my old shop. And I can pull the super chats up, and just, I don't know how emotional I'll get. I try to be pretty chill here on these live streams, but when it comes to comic book retailing, comic book shops, I have a great empathy for comic shop owners. So Joe Public, okay, take your time, man. He says, be right back. That's good. I'm glad you tell us. But yeah, do what you need to do. Probably have to go Jaloja. Make sure everybody make sure you Jaloja before the live stream starts. I did. We'll get to the super chats in just a second, but I tend to get really passionate when it comes to comic book shops, and because I know all the I mean, listen, it's a fun job. It comes with a ton of BS that you really don't know until you start retailing, and then you find out that you're basically being phased out. And it's been a long haul. They've been trying to phase out comic shops for a while. So Brian Hibbs put out his 10-point plan, and I guarantee you, Marvel and DC's response will be, "Oh, we'll just stop the direct market." So that's why that article that came out while I did a video on it, and it was total hyperbole, which I mentioned in the video. It's not far from the truth. It's going to happen. It's I think it's an inevitability right now that the comic industry is going to die. There is a threshold. Man, it's funny. You know, DNC talks about a lot, has been chronicling this for a long time now. And it's funny when you hear people say stuff that I said, you know, in my shop. The comic book industry is a self-loathing industry. It's an industry filled with people who've got one foot out the door or hate what they're doing, or burned out. It's a very small percentage of people who have a great passion for comics. It's usually, this is a path to go here, or this is a path to go there, without any actual passion, because it is aging out, because it is dying. So yeah. Okay, let's get to the super chats here. Dave Moore, $1.99. Please bring back Cisco and the DS9 crew. I would love that. But I think it kind of ended. I mean, it had a pretty solid ending. I wouldn't want the current people bringing it back at all. If Ronald D. Moore was bringing it back, oh hell yes. Take my money. Thank you for the $1.99. Astaroth, $5. Hail Neurotic. Hope your recovery is quick and painless. Have you heard about Gab's Dissenter extension? No. What's that? I know what Gab is. Gab's like Twitter, right? I think I signed up. But I heard it got in trouble or something, and I only have the attention span for like 3 things. So, and I'm, you know, we've got the Facebook, and I know I'm supposed to be on Instagram, and I'm like, you know, I purposely limit my time on Twitter, because Twitter could be the major time suck. And you know, the videos I do, they take hours, especially the like the Orville breakdown. I did one as fast as I could, and I was doing it in 10-minute increments, and I did most of it standing up. That's why you don't see me a lot in it, because I feel better standing up. And maybe that's what I'll do in the future with the live streaming, is I'll get a stand-up desk and stand up. But right now, if I did it, you know, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see a crotch shot. But I digress. That takes forever. And then like I miss all this news, and then my videos come out late. So sorry about that. Thank you for the $5. And I got Godzilla's $20. Thank you so much. Daniel Maycock for £2. I really fear where the MCU is taking their films. Well, what they did in the comic books was, with the all new and all different, was, I believe, I don't know this for a fact, was a Disney edict was sent down from on high to be a proving ground to possibly that being the future of the films. And right now it looks that way. I mean, I don't know. I hope not. I certainly hope not. I hope Captain Marvel's marketing, I am not going to reward it. And I've already said how I'm not going to reward it, but I'm going to see it once. And I hope it's just an entertaining film. I love the Skrulls, and but I'll get to that later. I'll remember. Thank you very much, Daniel. Chris Blake, $6. More coffee for you, sir. You basically called YouTube the anti-establishment. Do you ever worry about Google pulling an RT move with YouTube? Yes. Well, yes and no. They're gonna. I don't think they would pull YouTube. I think they would. I think there is a possibility down the road that they would pull comments from certain channels. Yep. Oh yeah. I think that is a definite possibility. That's why there's nerdrotic.com. That's why, even though I did quit my day job, I don't expect this to last forever. I'm going to ride it as long as I can. I definitely have a plan B. And luckily, I mean, listen, I work my ass off, and I've set myself up to where I can do this. And then I was very, very fortunate to have you guys come in and subscribe to the channel. That I am totally grateful for, eternally grateful for. And if it ends tomorrow, it's been fun. It's been some of the most fun I've had in my life. And it really is a good payoff for what the last 5 years have been. It's been, it's just, struggling to get back after a pretty decent fall I made 5 years ago. Again, self-inflicted. Thundercats Ho, £2. Get link on Facebook comment for Facebook comments on RT, which they hide. Oh, yeah, I want one. Yes, I will find it. It's going to be interesting when that audience score opens up, which is in 2 days. Thank you, Thundercats. Johannes Lundberg for £20. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. Here's a contribution to go see Alita again. It's even better the second time. Done, Johannes. Done. I will do that this weekend. I will take Nerdrotic Jr. one more time, and we'll have fun watching it. I want to see it again. I definitely do. And I'm buying it on Blu-ray. I dug the hell out of it. And it's for no other reason than I genuinely like the movie. And I didn't think I would. I criticized the trailer, but I'm kind of a Robert Rodriguez fan. I like a lot of his stuff, not everything, but I like a lot of his stuff. And I like his, I don't know, he's kind of anti-establishment himself. The real Mrs. B, $9.99. I so appreciate your honesty and boldness. Thanks, Nerdrotic. Hey, thank you. It's you guys. It is all you guys. I come here and spout my opinion in an empty room, and thank God you guys are here. Otherwise I would, because a couple 3 years ago, I truly felt like maybe I'm the only one. And I know a lot of you and a lot of other YouTubers felt that, and we found each other. And they really hate that. They being the Access Media, who is feeling very threatened by us right now, extremely threatened by us. But I hear so many of them bringing up YouTubers. And I know which ones they're bringing up. I mean, I'm not going to necessarily think it was me, but I know it's World Class Bullshitters, it's Geeks and Gamers, it's EVS. I know it's those three. And, that makes it some other, SC Reviews is a great one. But my buddy Bulls Trek, man, that guy is a flamethrower. I love that guy. Of course, there's, Mecha and that Umbrella Guy. There's a lot of good people out there. I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning everybody, but I'm thinking of you. All right. Keely Ann, $2. Just saying hi. Hi, Keely. How's it going? Glad you're here. Thanks for coming by. It's good to see you. What are you drinking there? I see you drinking. And is it coffee? Vodka? Coffee and vodka? Ooh, that'd be bad. Gloria Redmond Booth, $20. Jeez. I just started watching your content. It's informative and insightful without being emotional. Well, wait till I talk about the comic book stuff. I'm choosing not to see Captain Marvel because discrimination of any kind is wrong. Have a great day. Gloria, you are correct. That's something that needs to be brought up. Because I have 2 kids, I'm thick of the children, but it's really more than this. People were wronged in the past. There is no doubt. It was effed up. It sucked. It was horrible. It was wrong. How many times can I say that? We do not need to repeat that. We need to move past that. Singling out any group for their politics, their religion, their look, whatever, is horrific. And it's something we need to move past, but we're not going to move past it overnight. But taking it out on even a perceived, taking it out on somebody for something in the past, and then who's gonna get the results of that? Who's gonna is kids, little boys who had nothing to do with that crap. Okay, so I don't know who you're getting back at, but that's what it looks like. That's the perception. I'm not saying everybody does it. I'm not saying everybody in the Access Media does it, but there is a large perception of this. Go watch Dave Cullen's latest Is This a Thing video. He discusses it in there. He's a smarter guy than I. He's also a ginge. And And he explains it very well in there, like how this is happening. And that's kind of what my next Doctor Who video is going to be about. Might be kind of controversial. I don't know. We'll see. I try to test the boundaries as much as I can. Thank you very much, Gloria. I totally agree. I don't live my life like that. I don't teach my kids to live their life like that. So, but the problem is when we see actresses and actors just flinging stuff out, that's not okay. But apparently it is down there. Ian McShane said something, go to Bounding in Comics, which is a great site, said something to the effect of when discussing race, white people should shut the hell up. Good luck getting me to shut the hell up. I like Ian McShane. Read the rest of the interview, because other than that statement, he says some pretty freaking funny things. So I think he's just a contrarian, and I can really appreciate that. So and read that interview. Oh my God. It's funny. It is funny. Martin. Whoa, good God. Martin O'Looney. I am ambivalent to women in movies. How good is the movie? I like the movies with politics in them. I just can't watch propaganda. We'll be giving Captain Marvel a pass. I hope not Endgame 2. Martin agreed. And there are, oh yeah, you're so right on that one. There are movies for politics. There are some very good ones. There should be political messages in some, and a lot of movies if it's made for that. But when you get these big franchises and they're not agendizing everything. Okay. Just a lot of the big stuff. Why? Because they're trying to get a message across. Why? I don't know. Do I think it's like some people, in an office, like planning this stuff out? No, I think it's a lot of like-minded people, echo chamber kind of stuff. And when it comes to the BBC, I think there is some of that. I think they actually do plan that stuff out and plan to put it in. But as far as like American companies, nah, they're too fragmented. I just think it's an echo chamber. With the BBC, I think it's I think there's some people at the top putting stuff in. By what I mean by that is they have like a checklist or an outline of what you were supposed to present in art. I don't think I'm wrong on that one. So, and I don't care who's starring in a movie. I don't care what. I don't need to identify. I don't need to see myself in every lead of a movie. I'm not that narcissistic. Plus, I just like to be entertained. I don't give a crap who stars in it. But I also have, feelings on like if a certain character has been, say, male for 55 years and then you change it into a female, and then you try to tell us it's the same thing, it's not. Luminara 843 for $1.99. No question. You can put a question in the chat. Just put @Nerdrotic. I'd love to answer it. But thank you for the $1.99. I appreciate it. Elliot Nelson, $10. I don't get to watch your live streams. Oh, that sucks when they're actively live, but I wanted to jump on and show support. Keep up the excellent work. Elliot, I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you so much for the $10. You pop in enough. I see you. Thank you so much. You're brilliant, and thanks for watching them later. And a lot of you do, so I will continue to keep them up. They do okay. Jeremy's right though, that sometimes they can hurt the algorithm. It took me a while to figure that out, but Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers is right. But we're doing okay, so I'm going to keep them up. If they ever do disappear, go to nerdrotic.com. They will be posted there. But this one is going to stay up. Luminara 843. There you are. $5. Do you think if Monica Rambeau was Captain Marvel, there would be this much backlash and SJW bull? Love your content, by the way. I think the backlash came from Marvel's marketing. And then Brie, it started out with Marvel's marketing, and then Brie saying something on top of that. Then the director coming out and saying it's a feminist film. And then Brie coming out and saying it's intersectional feminism, which, listen, in your own time, if you want to practice some ism, go right ahead. But if you are expecting the largely male audience that has supported this character, and the reason this character is around, the reason there was a Miss Marvel, the reason there's a Captain Marvel, when I sold the Kelly Sue DeConnick Captain Marvel comic, we didn't have a single female subscriber for it. Not one. So there it is there. Did some women buy it? Sure, but they bought it off the rack and they did not put it on their subscription lists. A lot of people, I've told you, when that comic came out, the sales from number 1 to number 2 dropped 50%. There you go. Monica Rambeau was the first Captain Marvel to me, the one I read in the Avengers and loved. And I'm trying to think back to when I was 12 when that came out, if anybody had a problem with it, and the answer is no. I remember kids running to buy it because it was a first appearance of a superhero, which was rare back then. And bought it at the Coronet newsstand. No, I don't think so. And you got to think, why didn't they consider that first? Why not? Why do they feel like they needed to do this Captain Marvel? Interesting. Kind of like the same reason they had a blonde, doctor. Maybe. I don't know. Mr. Roboto, $2. Doom Patrol, who was the talking roach supposed to be? That was Mr. Nobody. Wasn't it? I just thought it was Mr. Nobody. But maybe not. Now I got to think about it. That was from, I just pulled out my Grant Morrison. God, it sounded like his voice. But I mean, I've read that run, but I read that run when it came out. So I've slept a lot since then. I recently pulled out that run. I'm going to try to read it before the next episode. I'm going to start very soon. If not this, it's not this week, but next week I'm going to start covering Doom Patrol. I love it. I thought it was great. It's like everything. It's got a couple little agenda moments, but overall, fantastic. So good and funny and wrong. And just wrong. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. And thank you, Luminara843, for the 2 super chats. Nick Hopper, I will be getting back to the chat. Okay. Hi, Gary. Greetings from the UK. Hate STD, but love the Orville. Me too. Found you 3 months ago and love the show. Any chance you will open more levels on Patreon for those of us who want to support you at a higher level? Wow. Yes. It was supposed to happen. It's going to happen before I go to Europe. I'm going to change the Patreon levels because the packages have sold out. They're completely gone. So we are going to, yes, Nick, I will do that. I will try to get that done this weekend. Thank you for your interest. Anybody who has purchased the packages, I will honor all commitments, by the way. I'm a little slow on shipping stuff out because I'm a busy guy, but they are starting to go. I've gotten all the comic books are going to get shipped out at once. I'm actually, I had to hire somebody to help me with that because there's so many to be shipped out. But yeah, that's going to be fun. So thank you, Nick. Yes, we will open something up. Somebody gave a 1999 pound super chat and it was retracted. I got to remind you guys, if you're going to get a little salty in the super chats, by the way, super chats are not required. I try to read everything as best I can. Make sure to hit @Nerdrotic. If you get a little salty, YouTube will automatically retract it for some reason. So that wasn't me. I am so sorry that happened to you. Go ahead and pop it back into the chat. It doesn't tell me who it was. So make sure to hit @Nerdrotic and tell me what that said. I'm really sorry about that. Justin Doyle, 10 pounds. Hail to you, Gary. I had you in on, what is it? I had you in the Val Claret last week, but only in for a minute, and I was knackered from snowboarding. Well, dang. But for a while there, you were kicking it in the Alps. Oh, that is great. Really? I've never been to the Alps. It was so much fun. Thanks, Justin. And you know what? I suck at snowboarding. I really suck. So I hope we were better at it. Yes, I'm from Southern California. I sucked at surfing. I sucked at skateboarding. Yeah, that's right. Thank you. That is brilliant. Peter Davison, what's up, man? How's it going? Best to you and your mum. Australian $5. Spock had no emotions. No, he didn't. And I actually had people in my recap trying to argue that Vulcans have stronger emotions than humans. Yes, they did thousands of years ago. That's why the Romulans and the Vulcan, well, they split a long time ago, but that's why, but the Vulcans had not evolved, have worked on getting past that, spent years getting past that, so it didn't dictate their lives. Spock is half human, of course, but these idiot writers who know nothing about Star Trek thought that they're actually doing something different. They're like, oh, let's subvert expectations. And they thought they were doing something different, and they just aren't good. The problem is that I think they're surrounded by a bunch of people who are telling them they're good for a lot of reasons. I'm going to say, look into the Star Trek Discovery writers' room and look at what's been the most consistent thing about this show that's not been very consistent over the last 2 years. And it's that writing room. It's that writer's room. And Spock's tears. Yeah. Dyslexic Spock. I mean, it's funny at this point. This show is a joke. And I'll get to what Doomcock reported. I'm trying to corroborate it. I can't right now. I've reached out to my guy. I haven't heard back from him. And I don't know if I will, because the word is that they have, they're getting mad at the leaks because it looks like some of them are actually legit. Mr. Roboto, $2. When was I 12? Back in the Stone Age? Yes. Actually, all of our comic books were on stone. No, they were cuneiform tablets. Yeah. Sumerian comics. Gilgamesh. I got an issue of Gilgamesh #1, first print on a clay tablet. It's very hard to bag and board that. But I got it at Solomon's Comics. Alex, oh boy, Grigorenko. I am sorry. I have a hard last name too. I'm just going to call you Alex. Okay. We're buds. First name basis. You can call me Gary. $20 super chat. Recently started watching your channel too. Completely agree with you on the Orville, STD, Star Wars, Captain Marvel, skipping Captain Marvel. I'm all in for diversity, but when I'm told it's not for me, it's not for me. LOL. Exactly. It's like, the thing is, a lot of times it's like, we argue about something. We're like, hey, take politics out of my entertainment so I can simply enjoy it, because I watch it to get away from that stuff. It's called escapism. And then they go, you're against diversity. I'm like, what? I don't recall saying that. I said, I just don't want politics. You must be against inclusivity. No. I said politics. Oh, well, you're a misogynist. Nope. And by the way, yeah, I think the Doctor should be male. I think you should create another character for a female. Then I would watch it. And guess what? I'm not misogynist for saying that because it's a single statement on a single TV show. But when they have to make, I've said this before, when that's their counter argument, it's just like saying F you in the middle of an argument. That's when somebody's lost. So there you go. Danosaurus, $5. I so agree with this. Wish Katie Sackhoff was Captain Marvel. My God, she would be so good. Would you settle for her as more a seasoned Sue Storm? Yes. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, I've always seen in my headcanon Miss Marvel as somebody in her mid-30s, as a full-grown woman. Carol Danvers is somebody I used to like. I've actually read Miss Marvel. Yes. Yeah, I've read it and I enjoyed it. Thank you, Danosaurus. Chris Persia, Canadian, $5. Gary, you need to hit the waves in Queensland. We'll make a surfer out of you. Oh man, I'm not going to hit the water in Australia Canada. I was thinking Australia. Duh. What? Hit the waves in Queensland, Australia, or like hitting the waves in Canada? That'll make a man of you. I wouldn't even go in the water here. The water's freezing here. I've never been in the ocean here. And I live 2 miles away from it. I didn't even stick a toe in that stuff. Brr. There's great white sharks up here too. Now at San Diego, it's different. It's nice and warm. It's pretty chill. Bionic Belly Button, $2. Thoughts on Captain Marvel, Captain N comic where she married her son? Yeah, weird. Weird, but that was Marvel Comics. That's what I used to love about Marvel Comics. They used to tell stories that entertain people, and they got a little weird. I love the weird comics. Thank you very much, Bionic Belly Button. I mean, hey, they were Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, and they took it a step farther. A16 Adam Walker, 10 or 2 pounds. Have you read the webcomic Questionable Content? I have not. I will check it out though. Let me write it down. What's it about? I've got my notes here. Man, I've got 4 videos to do in the next 24 hours. Okay, we're getting to the chat here. We're getting to the chat. Holy crap. Okay. Even if you thought Katie Sackhoff looked too old, de-aging an actor would seem to be no problem now. Yeah, Mage Grey Elf. I mean, Nick Fury's in the entire damn movie. You're absolutely right. Liger fan, should Marvel Man show up in either the MCU or get his costume design back? They were supposed to bring him into the MCU in a big way. I remember they made a big deal. It was right a year before I sold the shop. They made a big deal about getting the rights, and they reprinted some books and then didn't do anything. Now, I remember Marvel Boy was a very good comic. Very good comic. Josh and Rebecca Moname. Atlantic Ocean is better than the Pacific Ocean. Oh man, are we gonna have like an ocean war now? No, I'm all about the Pacific. The Atlantic is nice, though. It's warm. Yeah, I've been in it. Gulf of Mexico isn't that bad when there isn't primordial ooze in it and stuff like that. I was 9. Amy says she was 9 in 1981. I was 11. Do you think the media and Disney will try to fudge the numbers if Captain Marvel flops? Yes, they always do. I have no factual evidence of this. I just speculate. I am just a guy with a microphone. Entertainment, Hollywood math is all fake. It's all fake. It is notoriously fake. Now, the only time I've heard a factual instance of it was listening to my dad when he was talking about the financing of a movie he was working on right before he died. And yeah, he said that he couldn't wait to stop working on that movie. He did it as a favor to Audrey Geisel, and he couldn't stand it. So, but he said it was, he said working on that movie could probably get him time in prison. But apparently it happens all the time. So choice between freezing or eaten to death in the water. Good fun. I'd freeze. I don't want to be food for somebody. Freeze. For sure. Do you think, okay, I already read that one. Something crazy happened last Thursday. I fell in love with the Orville. I gave STD a chance, and although I liked it, I liked the beginning of season 2, it's getting pretty bad. Orville is fantastic. Ground control to Major Tom. Yes, I agree. It did start out better than season 1. I said it in the reviews. I'll say it now. Probably because they were focusing on Anson Mount. And when we see those old Trek uniforms, with their modern version of it, which looks a lot better, it started like looking like Trek, but it still doesn't feel like Trek because they don't want it to feel like Trek. They feel like old Trek is boring and they need to make a new Trek. So yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Katie Sackhoff is not too old, and it's sexist and ageist of anyone in Hollywood to say that. But that is the most sexist and ageist place on the planet. And it's also the most racist place on the planet. And that's just what I saw in my 2 years of working there. And I used to work in the auto industry. The auto industry has nothing on Hollywood as far as being just absolutely horrible. And a lot of the people committing it are these people you hear on podcasts and access media. They are some backstabbing mofos down there. Okay. Not everybody. I don't hashtag not all, but a lot. The culture down there is very, to use their word, toxic. Okay. Mazamonti, what is up? 5 pounds. Good to see you. It's been a while, or maybe you've been here and I just didn't see it. I'm sorry. What do you make of the Facebook deboosting scandal when channels get hidden for mention words like SJW in their thumbnails? Censorship. It's simply censorship, but it is definitely happening. That's why I never put that in my title, ever. I don't say it a whole lot, but yeah, I don't. Now it helps on YouTube, but that it's what I have been noticing with YouTube, and if any YouTubers are out there listening and just listening in the background, just privately message me and tell me if you are experiencing the same thing. Captain Marvel videos bring in a crap ton of subscribers, like just a crap ton of subscribers, but they don't bring in the clicks. It's weird. It's really weird. I mean, like I'm still getting listen, 30,000 views is a lot and it's great. But it's weird that I'm getting like 3 times as many subs and they come out the gate really slow. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I think certain things definitely get throttled, Maza. And no, I of course I'm against that. It's their business model. They can do what they want, but it's a good way to kill your business model. It is. YouTube's in a rough situation because I'm sure there's pressure on them every day to quiet people like Geeks and Gamers Up and EVS. Thing is, they're making crap tons of money off those people. So the bigger you get, the more leeway you're going to get. But they're sometimes you don't think that they're interested in that. Rotten Tomatoes, it's just my belief. They probably got the most traffic they had gotten in a long time with this Captain Marvel thing, and they shut it down. That's going to affect their business model because they were scared of Disney. Oh boy. Peter Davidson, 15 Australian dollars. Hello, Peter. Thanks again for the koala, man. In the 60s in Australia, Sea Spray was a TV series with a first mate from Fiji. Very popular show. See, it doesn't. If you would talk to certain people in 2019, you would think there was segregation in the 80s. Do you think? Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you again. Say hi to Mom. The Grizzly, $10. Do you think that the comic book industry would make any comeback or is Disney really going to shut down Marvel Comics and just have all the Marvel stores in the MCU from now on? I'm sure they threw around the idea of having their own shops. I'm sure they've thrown around the idea of getting rid of the direct market. Like I've said, I heard a CEO of a Disney department say as much to my face while we were doing a filming project there, that it was under consideration. I know that they said that they don't like dealing with Diamond, but they have a pretty sweet deal with Diamond. The problem is it's just not making money. And like I said before, there's a threshold. There was, when I was comic book retailing, there was over 3,000 shops. There is way under 2,000 now. I think we're at the point of being at close to 1,500. I agree with EVS that if it gets below 1,500, it's not sustainable anymore. You can't sustain the direct market. What'll probably end up happening is the comic industry will turn into graphic novels. So it'll be like you releasing a fantasy novel series. You come out with something once a year and it's a big project. The problem is, like, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. You're going to have to be a best of the best artist and a best of the best writers. And those are the only people who are going to survive that art that Marvel's cranking out. Those people, I hope they have plan B. Comic shops, there'll always be some comic shops. Ones that focus on toys, vintage, cards, other things. And then if you sell a bunch of back issues, people will, at least for the time being, for the next 10 years, 15 years, people will still want that stuff. I'm, still considering opening up a pop-up and just selling old stuff. And I think that'll be fun. but I won't need the comic shop to like pay all my bills either. So as far as like paying a mortgage, those days are done. I think a lot of comic shops are guys partnering in and they do it for fun and they split time. And like the big cities will have them in some big suburban areas, but the little ones are gone. Comic shops do well here still. That's why I'm surprised Two Cats closed down, but there might be another one closing down soon. But it's done. Marvel's killing it with the way they do business, and I don't think they're going to change. So, and they're kind of a vindictive company. And then the person who's asking them to change, even though it's a different owner, sued them and won. I think there's still people there who remember that. And that might be a consideration. Mr. Roboto, $2. What counts as Grant Morrison? I'm skipping Brie. What counts as Grant Morrisonism? Well, that's a Grant Morrisonism is anything in happy. So, okay, an interdimensional doorway that's a donkey, and the way to access it is through flatulence, or the way Mr. Nobody gets out. That's a Grant Morrisonism. An imaginary friend, a little blue donkey imaginary friend doing a bunch of coke is a Grant Morrisonism. Thank you for the $2. Jim O'Neill, 5 pounds. By the way, happy, great TV show. Watch it. Jim O'Neill, 5 pounds. Big 2000 AD fan. Yes. Oh, yes. Judge Death is probably one of the best comic book villains not put on screen. Yes. I love you, Jim. Hope he makes an appearance on Mega City 1. God, one of the best comic book movies ever made. Dredd. Carl Urban's Dredd. Straight up. I know it's a remake of another movie. I don't care. I don't care if stuff is based on other stuff. The only thing I care about is execution. That's all I care about. Like, was it good? It's over there. But my the Mezco 1/12 Judge Dredd, I got at Comic-Con. I'm looking right. Those things so badass. But I didn't get a death yet. I'm going to get that next year. Thank you, Jim. Michael Deich, $2. I'm avoiding Marvel films till they do a Beta Ray Bill. Yes, I love Beta Ray Bill. All we got was a little monument to him in Ragnarok. They couldn't have put him in the background. I love Beta Ray Bill. I want there to be a 1/6 scale Beta Ray Bill figure, but they, I was looking for it. There's no, I'm really into like weird and custom stuff. I'm looking for a custom 1/6 scale Fantastic Four action figures, not statue. But I can't find it anywhere. George Peter Gatsis for Canadian $5. I have a humor comic book on Indiegogo called Joe King, and it makes fun of Star Trek and the Orville. How can I promote it on your channel? You just did. Do I have any wrenches in here? Hey, Nihilist Shadow, do me a solid. Find Joe King on Indiegogo and pop the link in the description or one of the wrenches. Could you please do that for me? You're not required, but if you could, I would greatly appreciate it. There you go. Thank you so much. I will check it out, George. Joe King. All right. Christian Basil. $5. The problem with Brie Larson being Captain Marvel is she thinks she's Captain Marvel. Can't wait have you on Legend of Traveling TARDIS radio show. Hey, Christian, we need to do that. That'll be fun. If we can just geek out about Doctor Who, about the good stuff. Did I tell you guys? Oh, maybe I mentioned it in the video. So I got the Peter Davison Blu-ray and on eBay, and I asked the guy to take it out of the case. He's like, what? I'm like, could you take it out of the case or take the wrapper off the case? I said, I hate that logo. I don't want to even look at it when it comes in. And he did it. Rory McGee, 5 pounds. The best thing about the 3rd season of STD is we get another 12 episodes of bullshit to talk about. Yes. But a quick moment. Doomcock reported something yesterday that's very interesting. It may not be season 3 as you expect it. They might be subverting the expectations on an actual season of television. They might be half-hour long. They might be short treks. It might be a greatly shortened season. They brought the budget down a bit as much as they could for union rules, according to Doomcock. Check out his video. I find that interesting. As it stands right now, I think we'll probably get a shortened season. This was supposed to be Michael Burnham's journey to captain. I mean, she says it in the Blu-ray videos. That's what it's supposed to be. I think here's what they'll do. They'll get a season 3 and they'll pull a Doctor Who. They'll split it and they'll call it like season A or B or season 3 and 4. I don't think they will cancel this show and make it the shortest running Star Trek show. I think they'll take it in the shorts. They'll find ways around it. They might take 2-year breaks between seasons, kind of pull what Doctor Who does to keep it around. So it's not the short, so it gets as many seasons as Enterprise to save face. What's that? Get woke, go something or other. I forgot how it goes now. Jeff McKelvey for $5, almost 50,000 subs. Looking forward to 500,000. Oh boy, that's a ways off. Thank you though. It's coming. Thank you for doing what you do. I emailed you about the 20-inch Orville ship. Oh, good. Yes. I will check that out. I will so buy that. Chris K, $5. Do you have any thoughts on the aesthetic direction, character development that has gone for MK? Anyhow, keep it go. What's Marvel? What's MK11? I know I should know this, but I don't know this. Let me look it up. Throw it in the chat there. What you mean by MK11? I'm blanking, and when you tell me, I'll probably just go duh. So sorry, Chris K. North American Vikingar. $5. Bad news. Keith Flint, leader of the Prodigy, was found dead. No. Oh no. I'm a firestarter. I love the Prodigy. Oh no, that sucks. Drugs. That really sucks. The Prodigy used to be great. Great. Dreamer out there for $10, injecting identity, inclusivity, diversity agendas is clearly causing a problem. But rather than solve the problem, the powers that be seem to be trying to act like it isn't a problem instead. Oh yes, they completely dismiss us. We are dismissed at every angle. We are put down. We are attacked. And when we make some headway, it's full court press against us. I think things have been quiet today. I haven't checked, but they laid the groundwork with the Rotten Tomatoes thing. Round 2's coming up though. Round 2 is coming up. You got to see my Captain Marvel video because I found a podcast. It's kind of like my Doctor Who Jodie Whittaker one. It's where I react to a podcast. I found a podcast that said some things that were interesting, enlightening, and typical, and some stuff that made sense. I want to be sure. The reason it's taking a while is I want to be fair to them, because I'm going to kind of rip a couple things they said, but I want to make sure it's presented in context so it doesn't look like I'm just picking something out and attacking something out of context. That would not be fair to those people. Also, I don't know if I'm going to, I don't want if you guys see the video, don't send any, leave them alone. They're allowed to say what they want on their podcast. And that's the principles we have over here is people are allowed to say what they want. And we could just disagree with it. Not saying you guys are the type of people who would do that. I don't want to sound like I'm saying that just in case, cover my butt and your butt too. Mark C, $10. I solved the soy boy issue. According to Forbes article, studies show over half of today's men compared to 30 years ago suffer from decrease of testosterone by as much as 17%. I would agree with that. I think a lot of that has to do with diet and exercise and sex drive. All of those things can factor into your testosterone level. Of course, it decreases the older you get, so you have to try harder to keep that up. You definitely want to keep that up because you can live longer. It's very good for you. And that whole anti-testosterone thing, it's kind of funny that they're judging people on something they're born with, So yeah, Mark C, you're right. Thank you for the $10. Thundercats, ho, £5. I sent you a link for the removed Captain M comments on Rotten Tomatoes via Facebook. Thank you so much. You can read them. Been trying to get your attention for days. Yesterday I was feeling like crap. Thundercats. Give me a second and I'll get through it. I got to get to some chat here. Tyler Preston, thank you, Thundercats. Tyler Preston, $5. To me, I imagine a female Captain Marvel will be like Jen Scott's from Power Rangers Time Force. Also, love your videos. Oh, yeah. I know nothing about Power Rangers. I was too old for Power Rangers. So I was in my 20s when those were popular. Is that good, Tyler? Sorry. Thank you for the $5. Mark Tuttle, $5. Why are white male reviewers bad, but white male red carpet photographers okay? Asking for a friend. Exactly. Somebody reported in here, and I had no way to verify this. Oh, God, who was it? It was, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name because I asked you to email. Somebody had really looked into it and found out that all of Brie's representation is white. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think that would be rich if it was. But I hate playing those games. I almost don't want to do the tit for tat because I don't like playing those games. So Thundercats, give me a second. I'm going to get caught up some chat. Then I'll pull up my Facebook. And did you send it to me or is it on the page? Boom Comics Power Rangers is really good. Boom Comics can be very good. It's been a while since I read one. I hate to bring up this name because he's been one of the worst things in the comic book industry in the last few years is Mark Waid, but he did write some good comics back in the day, but it's really ruined my enjoyment of anything. But Irredeemable, Boom did Irredeemable. That was a pretty good comic. I reduced the budget. A reduced budget is probably a good thing for STD. Best case, they can have the storytelling, since they can't hide behind effects and action, or the bad writing will show undeniably. Loquacious Primate, I feel like it does that anyway, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Crazy people are obsessed with genetic things no one can help. I prefer my girls green. I do too. I really do. Do you think do you get the Isaac picture I sent you on Twitter? Simon, I did not check. I will look. Isaac do you have the same handle or do you have a different handle? Time Force is a great season of Power Rangers and the comics are great. Cool. Power Rangers is probably not anything I'm ever going to get into. It's just not, like I said, I was too old when it came out. Keith, age 49, found dead. Liam of Prodigy tweeted it that it was a suicide. Oh, man. Luffy is God. Yeah, sorry. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Keith. I'm a fire starter. It's tough to produce a quality SF show on a tight budget these days. Yes, Graham, it is. A science fiction show, it's almost impossible. But I would say the Orville's probably on a pretty tight budget, and they pull it off. Soyboard Panboy, heard about Dissenter? Free speech abandoned for web browsers. People place their removed comments on Rotten Tomatoes. Captain, really? All right, so I got to check this. Thank you for the $5, Soyboard Panboy. Let's get to the Facebook. Oh, there they are right there. Talk amongst yourselves, folks. Sorry about this, but checking messages. Okay, here we go. And Rotten removed. Thundercat. Okay, here we go. Got it. So they're still there. Oh, that's funny. These are some of the ones I read. These are some of the ones I read because I recognize Arvin M because that was my dad's name is Arvin. Like nobody has the name Arvin except for my dad because he was born in the Depression in South Dakota. You want to hear? Okay, you want to hear people whining? My dad, I'm sure everybody's got their dad stories. My dad and his brother Verlin, so Arvin and Verlin, were born in Roscoe, South Dakota, a town of 300 people and still has only 300 people. Their dad died when my dad was 6. Their mom was crippled. They still ran a farm in the 40s and 50s. And like the winters are horrible in a little house that had no heating and crap. Like they had, they had a boiler and stuff. Yeah. And, believe me, he told me about that every day. Every day. He's like, you think you got it tough? Okay. Let's read some of these. Some of these horrible, toxic Rotten Tomatoes reviews. Horribly toxic. These are the ones I've read. Looks kind of boring, honestly. Don't know anything about the character. So it's still up. So they have all of these comments still up. So they just took away the link. Well, what's the point of that? That means they're probably going to bring it back. I'm going to try to get deep into this because some of these I've already read on my videos. That is interesting. It's still up. Okay, now the page won't load. We'll get back to it. Page isn't loading right now because of reasons. But thank you very much. I might do another video on that. I will give you full credit, Thundercat. So thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for sending me a message. I do appreciate it. Okay. Let's get back to the chat. That generation was really tough. I would rather be on a farm during those years. Yeah, being on a farm was pretty cool. I got to when my dad would send me out there to go get me right when I was a teenager because I was a pretty bad kid. I was a pretty unruly kid, and I just went out there and drank. Oh my god. Bill G for $20. Hey man, finally caught you live. Found you about 3 months ago and have been hooked ever since. I do have one major question for you. What happened to your season 2, episode 10 review of Counterpart? I pulled it because it was killing the algorithm. So I will link it for you in the chat. It does exist. If any of my live streams disappear, I put them on nerdrotic.com and you can find them there. But the Counterpart season 10 episode review is on nerdrotic.com. I will get it for you in just a second here. So yeah, it was killing the algorithm. Nobody was watching it. So I love doing it. And it was getting a couple thousand views. But the problem is, Jeremy, what happens is, it gets a lot of people clicking, but then they click off and then that just slows everything down. But here is the link for you right here. If you guys are interested in it at all, there you go. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. We got a Jeremy in the house. What's up? Stone Cold Jeremy. Just want to show some support for my fellow comic book nerd. My first was Jack of Hearts. That's brilliant. Short-lived as it was. I was hooked ever since. So until Jean Grey needs psychic help from Mrs. Cleo, make mine Marvel. Yes, Stone Cold Jeremy, it is good to have you. Okay, so let's talk about comic books here. Let's talk about comic book retailing. This is where I might get a little fired up. Oh my God, I don't want to bring up a Bleeding Cool article because it would just destroy my computer. So you're just going to take my word for it. Bleeding Cool reported that three more comic book shops are closing by the end of March. And this is just, they rounded this out by announcements. I can't say, but I know 2 more here in California are closing in the next 2 months. So that's 5. We lost 50 comic shops about 2 years ago. Since then, I think we've lost 25 more. So Brian Hibbs had said it's been 10%. I think it's more. I think we've lost 10%. I think half the comic shops out there are living diamond bill to diamond bill, which means they're close to death. Marvel keeps doing the same thing. I don't want to get too much in the weeds, but they run a scam on the comic shops, basically trying to sell the same comic over and over again by offering variant covers. And EVS pointed this out. Oh, the irony that Two Cats, a store called Two Cats, is closing down the month they are doing the kitty cat variants on Marvel Comics. And the kitty cat variants represent everything wrong with Marvel Comics, represent where we have gone. All you have to do is go back to the damn milkshake crew, that little milkshake crew, which how many of them are still even there? The whole Heather Antos thing, and they went out and they got milkshakes and put a picture up, and everybody on Twitter backed them with make my milkshake. And wow, how does that picture look now? All drinking milkshakes while the house was on fire. Now, there was a lot of people trying to warn Marvel fellow fans, a lot of YouTubers who were horribly abused. And that's why I didn't get in the argument. I didn't feel like at the time, I didn't feel like taking that kind of crap. Not that I would have gotten it, but it really wasn't worth it. It looked like it was bad. And it was simply people saying, I want my comics to be entertaining again, kind of like what we're saying here. Now, all kinds of accusations were thrown out. And listen, there were bad actors on that side, and there's bad actors on both sides. And what we got to be careful with is we don't get defined by these bad actors. And I think Comicsgate got unfortunately and unfairly defined by a couple of people that really had nothing to do with it. And they might have been, I don't know. I have a lot of theories on that. But I mean, listen, I was an observer. I was an observer. I subscribed to all those channels. I watched pretty much all the videos, and I feel like I'm pretty dialed in what's going on. There was a big split in the community. That was unfortunate, but I think the next wave of the Indiegogo stuff, and I think it's actually probably the best way to go right now because everything else is burning down. I know the initial movement wanted to save Marvel Comics and DC Comics. That is clearly not going to happen now. I always side with the retailers every time because I was one. I have great empathy for the retailers, but they have to bear some responsibility. I'm sorry. So I sold my shop in 2013. I had my reasons for selling it. Had nothing to do with what's going on. Comic books were selling great. Everything was going great. But the lesson within the lesson on that is sometimes when things are going awesome, we start, our farts start smelling good to us and we don't listen to anybody from the outside. And when we do listen, it's too late. So Brian Hibbs blew the lid off this a couple days ago when Comics Pro is an organization of comic book retailers. I'm going to nutshell this real quick. Comics Pro is kind of like a union. It's supposed to be a bunch of retailers gathered together in one single voice to protect retailers, to try to enact change in the comic, and it didn't do a bit of good. And I'm sorry because my friend Brian was one of the founders, was probably one of the people who came up with it, and it was a great idea. I was a member of it originally, but that's how I saw it. I thought we were going to band together, be a single voice, and try to keep the Marvel and DC and Diamond from strong arming us. Well, then and this is just my perspective on this. Then Comics Pro decided to let DC into the group, and they started sponsoring stuff. And there was just, I didn't want any participation from publishers. I wanted it to just be us. And maybe I got the whole concept of the thing wrong. Maybe it's just me, but I thought it was just us retailers getting together and not letting Diamond in, or, they shouldn't even have been let in the building, to be honest with you. But they got in, they were influential. They were smart. What the big two did, what DC was much nicer to retailers. They picked a few big retailers and started flying them down to LA and making them part of summits. And all of a sudden everything's compromised, in my opinion. So and then, Brian left for a little while, and then I left too. I stopped paying because I just thought it was useless. I liked the camaraderie of the retailers. I thought that was cool. And it was fun. Retailer summits are great. They're salty as hell. You get, what started the whole SJW Marvel thing was a retailer summit. And then we get this from a Comics Pro thing. And like, oof, man, the stuff you can hear in them is pretty funny. But Brian blew the lid off it by saying that, Marvel and DC are no longer practicing in good faith. They're basically screwing over the comic shops. They are not listening to the fans. They're not listening to the retailers. And the reason is, I think it's because they've pretty much given up. They're going to let this thing run as long as possible. Maybe, DC looks like they have a different plan, the one that I agree with 100%. Start putting comic shops in Walmarts, start putting them in 7-Elevens again. I think the direct market would benefit from this. I don't think selling comic books in a 7-Eleven or a GameStop or anything threatens a comic shop in any way. I think it's more comics out there, more people reading them, better for you. I've never been threatened by that. I brought up a long time ago that we need to change this whole return thing. We need to make comics cheaper and returnable. We need to put them on pulp. They need to be $2 or less, and they need to be returnable. And that's the only way possible to save the industry that I think but I don't even think that'll do it, to be honest with you. So I think it's going to be a slow death. Some comic shops will still be around. I'm really freaking pissed at Marvel because I used to be a Marvel guy, but after dealing with them, pre-Disney and post-Disney, they haven't changed as a company. And when you have people like Joe Quesada in charge, somebody I used to back quite a bit, but that guy, especially when he puts up tweets clowning comic conspiracy, wishing certain people happy birthday who are, you want to talk about toxic, and then but not thinking about the industry because he's past it. He's out the door. He's in Hollywood. He doesn't give a crap. CB Cebulski seems like a yes man to me. Like, I have no interest in making any of these people money. So that's why I'm not going to open a shop. I could have been one of those shops opening up amid all this crap because shops have survived worse. So another shop is closing. They could give two shits about two cats. And they don't care. They don't care what Brian says. They don't care. They don't care what you say as a fan. They're going to continue putting out their garbage. And what we need to do is stop buying it. And it sucks. It hurts the comic stores. But guess what? We've stopped buying it. I was looking at comic sales, which are a joke. Now, I was looking at Doctor Who, the 13th, #1, which had 3 different covers, which means a lot of shops ordered the same book twice. In the United States, sold 6,000 comics. 6,000 in a country of 330 million. Sold 6,000 comics. Captain Marvel #1, which was filled with variants, so they sold multiple copies at the same, when they count the variants as sales, sold over 100,000 comics, and another #1. I can't believe they suckered the retailers into that. And I can't believe the retailers freaking bought that many. And I wonder how many they're stuck with now. I saw what some of the variants were selling for on eBay, $6. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons retailers comic shops are closing down. eBay, I don't think is one of them anymore. I think you survived the eBay thing. I think it's been years. I got past the eBay thing. What I did is I started eBaying myself. There you go. Problem solved. I think Marvel Comics is to blame right now. Marvel Comics and the retailers for not saying anything. When you're quiet, nothing changes. When you just go with the flow and you're complacent, nothing changes. But so many retailers, and listen, if some people get offended by this, sorry. But, I went around the country when I bought my store. Yes, around the country, and stole as many ideas as I could to open my shop to get an idea, because I was on a budget. So I had to think of anything possible to stay alive. And I was able to stay alive by not making mistakes until much later. And also filling my store kind of full of wonder, making it a fun place to go. No blank walls, don't sell crap. I had very limited space. I had 1,100 square feet. So I'll get to the chat in a second. Sorry, but there's a lot of stores, that are great out there. There are some great stores out there. You gotta find them though, and they're worth. But don't go to these little hole in the wall places with blank walls with people who won't talk to you. And like there's the Simpsons comic guy, but that next generation didn't work past that. You got to be really good at customer service. You got to be nice to fans, and you can't be willing to put up with the shit the publishers give you all the time. Yeah, I was known as a nuisance because I didn't put up with that shit. When they sent me damaged books and then they told me I had to pay for the shipping of the replacements, I told them to stick it up their ass. And yeah, you had to do that every time. And then Diamond's, oh, okay, we'll ship it to you. That's when you put up with a monopoly, when they send you half your books on Wednesday, and then again, we'll ship you the replacements 3 days later and you have to pay for shipping. No, F you. All my books are returnable. You're shipping it to me for free, or you can keep them. And guess what? I'll stop carrying this book on, yeah. And there should have been that. If we had a bunch of retailers refuse to buy Captain Marvel #1, or just pick a comic, pick any big comic and just absolutely refuse to buy it, that would have gotten the retailers to change their minds like that. But we couldn't even get 5 comic shops together on something like that, much less, 2,000. So you have zero influence if you're an independent voice that doesn't say anything. And Marvel was able to get away with this forever until the comic industry burns down. So there you go. It's burnt down now. How does your milkshake taste? Hope it's effing good. That was long. Sorry. Huh. All right. Let's get to a couple super chats. Oh, what did I do there? Feisty fan, what's up? She's got a good shop, but she's still anonymous, so we can't say where it is. But her shop is great. If more comic shops had Feisty fans running them, they'd be alive right now. Because I've seen her do her thing, and it's very similar to how I did my thing. Knowing everybody's name, having a nice conversation with everybody, not trying to push something on somebody nobody wants. You could sell more comics through just a natural, organic conversation than any other way. I'm glad I just hopped in. Brian Hibbs made some good points, but this sucks. I have some serious opinions on this. Yeah, he made some great points, and his 10-point plan, actually, I mean, I'm okay with most of it. It's just not going to happen, and he's got the most influence of the remaining retailers. I mean, one of the, some of the greats are gone now. Gary Arlington's gone. Rory Root is gone. And there's some other great ones out there, and they're just quiet, and that sucks because they could really add to the conversation, but they're just quiet people. They're not really about rocking the boat. I won't name them, but they're like, if they would have, Jamie Newbold is a giant voice in comics that we need to hear more from. I'll say, I love Jamie, but Jamie's doing good. His store's doing good. Southern California Comics. Go check it out. Thank you, Feisty. It's good to see you. Okay, Gary, do you know about Anime Gate Weeb Wars? I am aware of it. So bored Panboy. Yes, I am aware of it. There's some very good YouTubers covering it in depth with the whole Vic Mignogna, as you say, Vic Mignogna thing. Looks like he's getting a little bit of the railroad. I don't know much about it. Okay. I know what that Umbrella guy does on it, and Yellow Flash and those guys, which are good YouTubers, man. Good YouTubers. Yeah. I'm glad that Umbrella guy finally got off his restriction. I missed his live streams there. So, I mean, he had him on another channel. I was watching him there, but he's good. He's really good. AKA Blonded. By the way, it's good to see you, Feisty. AKA Blonded, $10. Late to the Nooner and your rant. How's it going, Gary? Oh, it's going great. It's going great. Comic industry is burning down. One of my favorite things in life, comic books. Comic books are my single favorite thing of anything. I mean, aside from my kids and my wife. Yeah. I mean, thank God there's so many back issues. I mean, I'm just going to read old stuff now. Problem is, I have a lot of stuff I need to get rid of. I don't know how I'm going to do it now. What's your stance on web comics? Do you think they hurt comic stores, or if so, how much? Nah, they don't hurt comics. My stance on comics is more is always enough. There should be no restrictions on digital and web comics and graphic novels and Indiegogos and comics in Walmarts. I think right now we are at a comicopolis. We need to have more. We need more people reading them. We need to 100% concentrate on children and get children reading comics. And I mean putting your A team on kid books. That's again too late though. It's too late. I did my part. Honestly, there should have been a training program from I'm not in all this kumbaya group collectivist crap, but Diamond Comics, if they were interested at all in preserving their customer, they should have ran a serious program to try to get people to buy comic shops, and then get other retailers to teach them how to run a fun comic shop, because it can be fun. It can be tons of fun if done right. But they had no interest in that. Diamond didn't even update their damn computer system for like 20 years. I mean, like complacency. It's filled with complacency. But no, I have no problem with web comics. Listen, digital comics, it never caught on. People use them, but it's not going to support the industry. It's got its place, but it's not going to support the industry. T. Stoney, $5. What Marvel Comics has done to their printed books, Lucasfilm did to the Star Wars merchandise, especially toys. T, exactly. They swung for the fences. They tried to bring more women in. They did. They gave it a good effort. I will make the argument that was happening naturally anyway, but they wanted to increase it. They hit the gas pedal on it, and they swung for the fences, and they whiffed hard. Why? Because the reality exists that not a lot of women like to read comic books regularly. Okay. There are more, definitely. We need more, definitely. And it might have happened over time, but they were trying to squeeze in, it took, the comic book industry is old. So we had boys reading them for decades. And all of a sudden we have girls reading them for a couple decades, couple to 80s. I started seeing more in the late 80s, a lot more in the 90s, a lot more in the 2000s. You had to wait for it to happen. But when you tried to pretty much fundamentally shift your industry to something else, and then getting hyper political on top of that, and then the art going downhill, and then poor business practices, it all conspired to the death of comic books. And no, a healthy industry. This is not a healthy industry. And CBR putting out that article like, oh, they were up last month. What a bunch of freaking shills, man. Hack website. Comic book resources, comic book shill sources. Nicholas Glenn, $4.99. You get my Twitter messages at DMBFan1979. I'm ready to make a deal for those comics. Keep up the good work, and I have been sending people to you. Nicholas Glenn, thank you so much. I got your message. Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal, buddy. Thank you for the $4.99. What is the Matrix? $5. Great little rant on comics, Gary, and thanks for being a role model with integrity. Wow, you're welcome. I don't know about that. I am not a role model. No, it's okay. Thank you. What is the Matrix? I appreciate it. Coffee is life. Drink, live, repeat. Destiny Captain, thank you for the $1.99. Obviously, I downed my Pete's prior to this podcast, and you can tell. Comic book black belt for £5. Sad to see comics now and see how people view artists. I still believe in quality and will always care for the work I produce. Great rant, Gary. Thank you. And I don't want to say people care in different ways. And I think we can populate the comic book industry with people who actually care about comics. And I think with some contraction, not contrition, with some contraction that can help. We need to probably cut some fat. We need to get more talented people back. We need to ask very nicely for some talented people to come back. Because you know what? People like Ethan Van Sciver and John Malin are out on their own and not welcome back at, well, I'm sure EBS is, but John Malin is not. And that's, I mean, I just, you know, I got my Jawbreakers book. I haven't read it yet, but I thumbed through the art. I'm speechless on why he's not working. I mean, I'm glad he's doing stuff on his own, and that was my dog. Hopefully that grows for him, because honestly, without the middleman, he probably could make some more money. But dude's definitely like should not be out of work ever. Oh man, I got my doorbell ringing. Hope it's not shit. Okay, hang on. Sorry, folks, to do this in the middle of a live stream. I'll be back in a flash. Talk amongst yourselves. It's San Francisco, and you can't keep stuff on your porch here, or it will disappear. Okay, that wasn't so bad. I'm back. Hello. Sorry, guys. Real life, you know. Those orders come in from Amazon. Let's get to the chat here real quick. Is CBS? It's CBS. They're all gonna grab Garrett. Yeah. CBS wouldn't come to my house. R.I.P. Nerdrotic. Rest in peace. What did I do? Mouse Potato. I feel okay. It's the Disney police. That would be fun. That would be funny. What'd I get? FBI open up. I didn't want to even joke about that. I didn't. I hated 90210. Yeah, I didn't watch that show, but you know what? 90210 is still better than Star Trek Discovery. Right, Mark C? Right? It's the school police coming to ask why your son is displaying inappropriate ideas. I was waiting for that in our last parent-teacher conference, but my kid is smart. He doesn't, he hushes around his teachers. Oh, man. I could do entire videos. See, I don't get political, but I can do entire videos on the assignments my kid gets. Maybe I should give that to like I don't know, like a political YouTuber, and he can go off on it. You just tweeted that Isaac pic to me. All right. Is my phone on? Let's go see. Let's see it. Hey, so, okay. While I'm looking this up, let's talk about, okay. I will be doing another the Marvel comic book video that I didn't think anybody would watch. It's like at 66,000 views. Holy shit. So I will do another one. I have a follow-up on that. Okay. So real quick, Hellboy trailer. I got to say, I kind of like the Hellboy trailer. It looks like it's still like a 90s movie. But I will probably, I don't know. I love Guillermo del Toro, but I love Hellboy. I don't know. We'll have to see, because there's a couple things in there it looks like they're going to do that I'm not going to like, but we will see. Shazam trailer. Like I said before, holy shit, that looks good. I am now looking more forward to Shazam than I mean, Captain Marvel. But the fact that I'm looking forward to the proper Captain Marvel over the other Captain Marvel says something. I truly think the DCEU is turning shit around. Just in time for there to be no comics. Now, why is it important for Disney, the MCU, Warner Brothers, and the DCEU to make sure comic stores stay alive? I'm sure everybody in here knows the answer to that question. It is your source material. And I think Bleeding Cool is right in speculate. I hate to say that. God, did I just say that? When they go to South by Southwest and Joe Quesada and Thick Boy in Charge go and have that panel on why it's important. I agree with that. You need the retailers. It's like handing out a pamphlet on the street. You know what I mean? You have people on that's the ground floor of fandom. That is the front lines of fandom. And that being gone would, and maybe they don't care. Maybe they feel like the MCU and the DCU are only going to last a few more years anyway. And let's just wring this thing out for as much as we can get and then just leave its dead carcass on the ground, which is what I always thought would happen when Disney bought Marvel. And wow, it's happening much faster than I thought it would. And people don't, I mean, when something is about to fail, it a lot of times it fails from the bottom up. All right. So if we see it failing on the ground floor with comic shops, it's eventually going to reach the top. When? I don't know. Nothing lasts forever. Okay. You tweeted at me. I'm looking for it. I don't see it. Is it a message or is it just a tweet? Oh, oh, oh man. A bearded Isaac. I would not turn on my people. I mean, you guys, my crew. I would tell them other guys that. Thank you very much, Simon. That's awesome. Dean Heist, $2. What happened to Q on your mic? Oh, I switched him out for a Doctor Who video. I'm going to bring him back. I don't know where I put him. I put him somewhere and I can't find it. It's around here somewhere. Yeah, I put him down somewhere and I can't find it, but I'll find him again. But I switched it out for to do a Doctor Who video, and then I forgot about it. But Q will return. Thank you, Dean Heiss. Thank you, Destiny Captain, comic book black belt. What is the Matrix for the super chats? Why are you saying boo? Thanks, man. You should buy a ticket for Alita and sneak into Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel doesn't get the money since Brie doesn't want white men there. Lock the coal. If I hadn't, okay, this is what sucks about this. And this is why I'm mad at Disney. Every time a Marvel movie has come out since practically the beginning of the MCU, my friend Tim and I and his fiance now, finally Tim, and my wife and my sons all go see the movie together on preview night. Tim buys the tickets, we pay him back. We even have a little Facebook message group, and it's called the movie group, the MCU movie group, and a bunch of us go and watch the movie together. A good time is had by all. We eat a bunch of junk food that we buy at another store because it's cheaper. And we discuss the film afterwards. I've been trying to get Tim on this podcast forever because he's one of the best talkers I've ever met, and he doesn't want to do it. But he bought tickets for Captain Marvel, and I'm like, I mean, honestly, I would much rather miss it and then do my recaps and go watch it later. I don't need to see it. And the crappy thing is these previews are only at night, or I could have done it during the day. But yeah, he bought the ticket. So I can't ask him to return it. Plus, I need to review it for the channel. I need to know what I'm talking about. Know thy enemy. And hopefully it's not. But I'm going to scrutinize this movie pretty hardcore. So it better be pretty damn good because the marketing calls for it. I will be watching Alita again. Somebody super chatted me some money, so I have to, but I will be going to see Alita again this weekend. I am an alpha male. The wife gave me permission to say that. Hey, mine too. Should I do it? What did I get? Oh, this is from what's this? I don't know what I got. Here, do a boring box opening. I lost track. I got a bunch of stuff. Oh, hey. There you go. I needed another. Well, I didn't have one in the package. So, and I still didn't get one in the package. I thought this came with a card. It's no big, but it's a master. There you go. Biff Bang Pow. It's kind of like the Mego ones. It's Comic-Con exclusive. There you go. That's what I got. I got keys. That's all I need. If I have a razor blade, that's bad. I get a lot of bad memories when I see razor blades. I feel like chopping lines of coke. We had 888 people watching. Let's raise this those to like 800 and show Gary some love. Oh, what? I didn't see the numbers. How come we have so many people watching? That's crazy. They probably all left when I got up, but holy shit. That's a lot of people, man. All right. So here's the plan for this week. Good God. Okay. Wow. Hi, everybody. All right. So the plan for this week is I'm going to try to do a Captain Marvel video every day to counteract the Access Media. I cannot wait to get the next one out because I love commenting on podcasts, especially when they're trying to straw man us. Well, I can straw man you right back. And I'm going to save it, but you'll be able to access the podcast. I'll tell you which one. It's out there. The Access Media was really having a good time last week, taking a shot at YouTubers, taking a shot at fans, and many of them saying there shouldn't be an audience score at all. You guys shouldn't have any say at all. And what did the lady on the podcast put it that, oh, take the toys away from them because they're not playing with them correctly. What exactly was the indicator for? So the argument was that they weren't using it correctly. I believe the question was, do you want to see a movie or do you not want to see a movie? Listen, the only thing I know I can't understand this, but removing the content comments, but leaving the vote up, and do they still have the want to see up? And it still didn't go up. Last time I checked, nobody was stopping anybody from liking the movie. So how come great numbers did not go in and like the movie either? Ron Perlman will always be Hellboy, but do not go to his Twitter because he's an a-hole. Straight up. Dude is an a-hole. And I don't say that about a lot of people, but he is, well, go look at his Twitter feed and get back to me. I don't want to see that movie. I don't want to let Tim down, but you know, it's funny. Nerdrotic Jr.'s all, I don't want to see Captain Marvel. Such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Oops, got to go. See you all next time. Sit up, vid. Take care, my friend. Make sure you behave yourself. It looks like Mama Mary had to put somebody on timeout. Perhaps since we haven't seen it, well, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it yet. And that is an important thing. But I'm still going, like I said, I'm going to be pretty hardcore on this movie thanks to its marketing. Before, I would have probably just gone, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Or whatever. We'll see. We'll see. That happened with Black Panther. Black Panther's marketing was still pretty, it was movement marketing. I don't know if people have short memories of that, but it was still pretty bad. It was. Go back and look at some interviews. It just didn't get the scrutiny because the movie turned out being okay. It did. I liked it. Next Sunday, Alex Cunningham, Exozone will be next Sunday. Ron Perlman was also excellent as Clay Morrow in Sons of Adams. Yeah, he's great in a lot of stuff. Separate the art from the artist. We had a visiting NPC. Oh, there you go. Hey, can I show you something? Hang on. I'm going to turn the camera off. I have an NPC here. Hang on. Okay. Do you know what holds my mask? If I can take it off. An NPC. He's right here. Say hi to the NPC. Yeah. There you go. Look. That's about what's in the head too, right there. Yep. I was looking at my Cyberman mask the other day. I'm all, oh, it's on an NPC. Holy shit. Newer subscriber, love your channel. Just thank you for all you do. John K. Brown. Whoa. 50 Canadian dollars. Whoa. John, thank you for joining up. We're glad to have you. We are not a community. Okay. We are a group of friends. We are a family here. We are a loose group of like-minded YouTubers and friends and fans. We are fans. We are the real fans, and they love to keep us quiet. They love to dismiss us. They love to generalize with us and lump us into arguments we're not even making. They, being the access media, they have been attacking you for a long time now, but it's been ramped up. We see through what does that say? Sorry. But we see through their BS, and it's glad that we found each other and we have a place to go, because they're shutting down comment sections everywhere, and they try to silence us as much as, and they never were. We're freaking fandom. We are nerds. We have been a nasty bunch of nerds for a long time. Like I said, there's a lot of people new to this party. Welcome to fandom. This is the way it always has been, man. Go, if you went to a comic convention back in the 80s, and you heard some of us talking, we were saying the same stuff. If I had a channel back in the late 80s, my whole channel would be centered around how much I hated Kate Capshaw, because she was the Yoko Ono to Spielberg. Ever since Spielberg married Kate Capshaw and adopted 97 kids, we lost him to elitism. And the funniest thing, my friend Doug just sent me this. I won't pull up the article, but Spielberg is the one championing basically he doesn't want Netflix to be able to be up for Oscars, and he is the one who is championing behind this, because I can't talk. And the funniest thing is, the Academy locked that dude out for so long. He should have won all the Academy Awards in the late 70s and early 80s. And because the old guard kept him out for, a lot of reasons, some of them very bad, by the way. But they, and now you become what you hate. You live long enough to become the villain, Spielberg. So that's what my channel would have been about in the 80s. The whole point of that is fandom's always been like this. Wear a helmet, wear a cup. Lost him to elitism. Yes. He became, remember, he used to be, I don't know, it depends on how old you are, but when I watched a movie like Poltergeist, the one he ghost directed, when I watched E.T., those little suburban neighborhoods they're riding around, that was my home. That's where I lived. I mean, the family interaction in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that was my family interaction. He was able to take a picture of my life as a kid and represent it to me perfectly. I'm like, wow. His stuff, he felt like he knew the fans back then. And then we lost him. I mean, he still did a couple good movies, but yeah, he's just part of Hollywood royalty now, and way too good for us. Gotta go, Gary. Dinner's up. Great live stream. Andrew Griffiths, thank you. Now I have to decide whether to watch a rerun of the X-Files or DS9. Ooh. Go with DS9, but if you could only watch one episode, then go with the Monster of the Week episode of X-Files. Did you see the pretty meme someone posted with Captain Marvel asking Rogue, are you going to be a problem if Rogue is going to be in the movie stealing her power? I'd go, Alexis, yes. If this is a big setup to have a fight over a bridge and she gets, that would be great. That would be great if they set that up. Avengers Annual number 10, one of my favorite all-time comic books, drawn by Michael Golden. In his prime. It was so good. Nicholas Gunn, Twitter me total number and where to send the cash. Okay. Will do, my friend. James Ridge, $5. Not sure how you keep your sanity living in San Francisco. YouTubing. YouTube. What did I see? I was watching a stream last night, and this is surreal. I'm not used to this. And somebody, it was EVS stream, and somebody said, you should get Nerdrotic on. And then somebody shot back with, Nerdrotic lives in San Francisco, so he's the enemy. Like, dude, I just live here, man. We're not all crazy. We're not. Yeah, it's insane. And believe me, it's beyond just the politics, like parking around here. effing, cars getting broke into. I'm leaving soon. I've lived here for much longer. My plan was to live here for like 5 years, stayed about a decade longer, and I plan to. I miss my hometown. I miss San Diego. It's a great town. Thank you, James Rich. Thank you again, John K. Brown, silhouetted animator for $5. The New Mutants movie is supposedly going to be on the Disney streaming service. It is somehow to be retconned into the MCU, like maybe a Deadpool. I think it'll be an after school special. I think they're going to just write it off as a loss. Don't look at anything produced by Fox. It will not go into the MCU. They are going to recast everybody. So don't hold out any hope for that. They are going to recast the X-Men. We're going to get a brand new X-Men. The Fox X-Men dies with the Dark Phoenix. John Arkaki for $5. Anti-Trekker needs this money more than you. He does. But Anti-Trekker needs to stop doing 3-hour viewings of an hour episode. I love Anti-Trekker. I love him. I watched it all. An only twin. That's funny. An only twin. Thank you for the $5, John. An only twin, 10 Australian dollars. First message ever. What book are you currently reading? I am currently reading nothing. I am waiting for the newest Expanse book, which comes out in. Oh, this will be great too, because I can read it on my flight. Here. Expanse book. One moment. I'm reading comics right now. So yeah, I guess that doesn't really count. Here, I'll pull out what I'm currently reading. Oh, that's a bad statement. Always remember to pull out. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It looks like it's straight up going to be the Whammon version. The Tempest, Fight Club 3, and the Magic Order I'm getting caught up on because I like Mark Millar. Then I'm reading, soon I'm going to give this, I'm going to give that back to my son. It belongs to him. But the Expanse, the latest Expanse book, which is like Tiamat's, here we go. Tiamat's Wrath. This is not going to show anything, right? I'm a fan of the Expanse, so we will get to that. Wow. I hope I'm just making sure it doesn't like show any. Oh, fuck it. Who cares if it does? All right. Tiamat's Wrath. Oh boy, where'd it go? I wanted to get on the cover. Oh well. Anyway, Tiamat's Wrath. That's what I'm going to be reading in 16 days. What's the date today? So like 22 days because my math sucks. Yeah, did you see that that you can get Orville costumes for $100 on Amazon? Very exciting. Very exciting. So thank you. And Only Twin. Yeah, I'm currently reading comic books, and the Expanse book 8 will be the next book I read. I am slowly getting through the latest. God, I'm blanking on the name now. The Targaryen book that George R. R. Martin put out, the source book. Tokyo Gaijin, 1,000 yen. I blame you and Doomcock for my new addiction. The Expanse, it's incredible. If you ever make it out to Tokyo, this toxic fan will be happy to guide you around Akihabara. Well, my wife was just there. My wife just got back from there like 3 weeks ago. I would love to go. I want to go to the Hot Toys store. That's the only thing I want to do is go to the Hot Toys store. Yes. Okay. I'm totally hooked on Umbrella Academy at this time. Klaus is just absolutely brilliant. Simon, yes, I love Klaus. Skirt wearing, drug addicted fool. I'm waiting for Captain Marvel versus Batman, Superman, and Aliens mega movie. Hey, that would Superman would kick Captain Marvel's ass. The Orville costumes look fake. But when are they going to make insignias or jewelry? They need to work on the badge. I don't like the badge. I don't know what Akihabara is. Akihabara? I'm reading Throne of Glass, the Asians, the Asians blade. The Assassin's Blade. The Asian's Blade. Jesus Christ. That's why I spent hours finding a link to remove comments on Rotten, as it annoyed me that they removed people's voice and then accused us of being trolls. Yeah, they removed it, then accused us of being trolls. That's why I tried to read as many as I possibly could on the video, because maybe one of those would be construed as bad. I wouldn't. I mean, like, what is your definition of troll? Is it just I don't like a movie? Are you a troll then? You know, when the access media, when a certain person backs a movie all the time, that's you know, I think a shill is a very specific thing. It is somebody who Scott Mendelson is a shill. That guy is a straight up shill. I can make an argument that Campia seems to be compromised. We'll just say, I'll be nice, because I like he co-hosts a show with Robert Meyer Burnett, who I like a lot. I think he's really good, but I don't like Campia at all. That's just my opinion. Do you think the MCU can deliver the Fantastic Four after what they did with Spider-Man? I'm Douglas. I question it. I would like to blame Sony for what has happened to Spider-Man, and it sucks. It sucks that we've had so much Spider-Man that we'll never get a true Spider-Man, because you feel like you've had too much Spider-Man and they got to make them different. But the problem is we've never had a real comic book version of Spider-Man represented. I think the closest it got was when he was under the mask and before you knew he was blonde in the beginning of Into the Spider-Verse, the all-together Spider-Man that was there for the first couple minutes before something happened. I think that was a good representation of Spider-Man. That's the only one I've actually seen on screen. I love the Raimi versions, love them, but Toby is not like the definitive version of Spider-Man. And Tom Holland is too young. He's Spider-Boy. Silhouetted animator. I actually bought Abducted by the Daleks not long after telling you about it. It's horrid. There's seizure lights and a really fake gray alien in it. Yeah, isn't it a porn too? Sony's actually looking to cast their own non-MCU Spidey currently. So they're going to have another universe concurrently running with it, a parallel, not concurrently. Yeah, wow. What did you say, Simon? That without spoilers, how far into the books is the Expanse series? The show? The show is about to start with the 4th book. Lock the Coal. It finished. Season 2 was books 2 and 3. Troll equals SJW with a mirror and projection. Oh man. Dang, you guys have been great today. You guys have been freaking great. But I gotta go. I've got to make videos. I went a half an hour longer than I wanted to, but there was so many people watching. I can't believe that many people were watching. I am really grateful. Thank you very much. We just passed 48,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 50, which is great. I will be back Wednesday morning for a live stream, unless some crazy news hits. But yes, 4 videos, and then that's my goal in the next 2 days. So cross your fingers. If you're a member of Patreon, tomorrow I will be on for the Patreon Nooner at 12 o'clock for about an hour, and you can hang out with me there. And watch out for, there's a lot of other people you should, not to should you, that you probably already subscribe to. Check out Bowles Trek. He's really good. World Class Bullshitters, Geeks and Gamers. Jeremy's freaking Jeremy's like a good dude. So is Jeff. EVS, he's EVS. No, I'm just kidding. He's a good dude too. Check them out. And yeah, there's a lot SC reviews. I try to, hey, a rising tide lifts all boats. So you try to shout out other YouTubers as much as you can. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I got a lot of heat from so I'm not going to show the Patreon video until I have it updated, because I haven't updated it in a long time. So we'll skip that one now, but let's real quick thank all the super chats. My God. Okay. Dave Moore, Astaroth, Quatzilla, Daniel Maycock, Chris Blake, Thundercats, ho, Jonas Lundberg, the real Mrs. B, Keely Ann, hi Keely, Gloria Redmond Booth, hi Gloria, Martin O'Looney, Luminara 843, Elliot Nelson, Mr. Roboto, Nick Hopper, Retracted, Justin Doyle, Peter Davison, Mr. Roboto, Alex Krigorenko, Danosaurus, Chris Persia, Bionic Belly Button, A16 Adam Walker, Mazamonte, Peter Davison, the Grizzly, Mr. Roboto, Jim O'Neill, Michael Dietz, George Peter Gatsis. There we go. And I got to check out your your comic, your Indiegogo. Christian Basil, Rory McGee, Jeff McKelvey, Chris K, North American Vikinger, Dreamer out there, Mark C, Thundercats Ho, Tyler Preston, Mark Tuttle, Soyboard Panboy, Bill G, Stone Cold Jeremy. What's up? Soyboard Panboy, Feisty Fan. Love you, Feisty Fan. AKA Blonded. Gauge the Gauge. Did I say that right? Aru Gauge the Gauge. What's your stance on webcomics? That's right. Maybe I didn't shout out your name before. I'm sorry. T Stoney, Nicholas Glenn. What is the Matrix? Destiny Captain. Comic Book Black Belt. Dan Heist, Nicholas Glenn, James Ridge, John K. Brown, Silhouetted Animator, John Arkaki, and Only Twin, Tokyo Gaijin, and Silhouetted Animator. Thank you guys so much. Everybody go to nerdrotic.com. Mary Ashmead, Silhouetted Animator, Chris Persia, Mark Lazurth, Douglas Nelson. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking my wrenches, man. My wrenches kicked ass today. Great job. Mary is Mama Wrench. Thank you so much. As always, one of the greatest wrenches out there. You guys are the best. So I have the best chat, best wrenches, best people. And let's keep it rocking. Support other YouTubers, please, too. Make sure to go to their live streams if you want. There's a lot of people fighting the good fight right now. And I will be in that chat, by the way. Like, if you watch the High Council, I'll be in the chat. I just try to stay quiet because I don't want to derail it or anything. So Nathan Norman, what's up? Everybody, DJ Bowman, take it easy. Buy Derp the Bugbear. Hey, check your DMs for some info on Alita's availability in theaters on March 8th. I've heard about that. I will. Thank you very much. 1,000 people now, Gary, can call out everyone anymore. I know. Sorry. I try. Best Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton. I love you, man. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. See you next time. And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.